Hey, everybody. Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And Randall, John, and I will be getting into some video game talk in just a minute, and some music talk, and a little bit of all over the map this week. So I figured I'd get into a couple of video games that I have been just enjoying the crap out of lately. And I'm just going to kick it off right off the bat. I've been really enjoying Dead Estate from Milkbar Lads, and I'm pretty sure we might have mentioned this one. It was a free-to-play game last Halloween, like a web-based, I think you could download it too, but a web-based isometric twin-stick shooter, kind of like a run-and-gun twin-stick shooter, if you will, but a top-down isometric sort of situation. But the difference being, like, instead of like a dodge roll, you kind of play in like these little diorama, one room at a time, and you can jump instead of a dodge roll, and there is some verticality to like the enemy's attacks and stuff. And again, it's kind of like a spooky, almost like a spoof on like Resident Evil. It's not, I mean, it has like its scary elements, but it definitely leans into the humor and kind of the over-the-top nature of things. And again, back to Milkbar Lads. I know we talked, if we didn't talk about Dead Estate, I know we talked about Ugby Mumba 3 on the podcast before, and John, DJ, and I were all pretty big fans of that one. I know John and I really liked it a lot. It had a lot of Caro Blaster vibes, which I'm a huge fan of that game. It's one of my favorite games, to be honest, from the Cave Story developer, but I could just gush on and on about Dead Estate, but this one's pretty popular too. It's really nice. I think this is Milkbar Lads' first kind of commercially released game, if you will, a game that you can buy. They've done a lot of like smaller game jam games and really polished, like bigger kind of, they almost do like event games. Like Ugby Mumba 3 was for some like Pixel Day on Newgrounds or something like that. I can't remember what it was for, but it wasn't a jam per se. They like worked on it for a month. But to go right into another roguelike, and by the way, with Dead Estate, like there are a ton of weapons and items and buffs and stuff, but it's not your typical roguelite, if you will. I don't really care about the distinction between roguelike and roguelite, to be honest, but typically people tend to think that roguelite will mean like, oh, you're like kind of plowing away and chipping away at unlocking things, kind of like Dead Cells style, where this seems to be, at least from my time with it so far, it's like you're just making a run and taking your best shot. You got two different characters. Maybe there'll be some unlockable things, but it seems like for the most part you're just running with what you got. And it's the same deal with Hellblusser, and this is a game from the Sokpop Collective, and I'm pretty sure we mentioned Sokpop when Remy was on the podcast when we interviewed them, Remy from PUNKCAKE, that is, and I'm going to talk about one of their games in just a minute, because I can't get enough. I was joking around with Remy, like, we got to change our name to Pursuing PUNKCAKE, because I just can't stop raving about the games that they're making over there. But before I get to that, the Sokpop Collective, who has a much larger crew, but they've been doing the game a month. I think they were actually doing 2 games a month for a really long time on a smaller scope, and they've just kind of, in the probably last 6 months, 4 to 6 months or so, they've expanded their scope in the sense of they're actually doing less games, 1 game a month, but doing a larger game with like a little larger scope, and kind of on the same scope of what I've played from PUNKCAKE so far. I mean, I haven't played, Sokpop has been around for a really long time, or at least what seems like a really long time. I've known of their stuff for ages and ages, and I finally they actually sent the copy of a few of their recent games, and I've only had a chance mostly to play Hellblusser so far, and that's the roguelike that I was kind of mentioning at the top, and it's got a really awesome, like, squiggly 3D low poly but like hand-drawn squiggle vision kind of look to it. It's a really unique, like almost like if Void Bastards had like that comic book kind of low poly flat art style. Like if you had that but kind of a more squiggly wobbly situation going on, it's really cool. And like, at least on the first floor, I don't know if this is, you're basically trying to extinguish hell in this game, and it's a first person dungeon crawler, and you have your sword which you can melee with, you have your other hand which you can kind of like Skyrim or BioShock style like cast spells out from your hand. But at least from what I've played so far, and I haven't made it very far in the game, but you can actually pretty much just use that hand to like, their torches and like just things like kind of lit on fire throughout the dungeons that you're crawling through. But you can basically hold down the trigger that casts the spells and actually absorb the fire, and you can hold up to 3 at a time. Again, you get like a buff on each floor that you get to pick from if you collect enough tears from the enemies you kill. But yeah, it's just got a really cool style, really cool like parry system, and a really cool like it's not the UI per se. I guess maybe it is kind of, but like the enemies do a really good job of telegraphing like when they're going to attack and what attack they're maybe going to do. And it's just really, it's got a really unique style, and it's really tough. Like, don't let the kind of cheerful, I don't know, it's just like a really like fun art style, and I would say do not let that fool you. And I guess to just go, before I go to the PUNKCAKE, because another game that doesn't really get difficult at all, it's more from Sokpop that I played just a little bit of. Heliopedia is a really cute, cool game. I cannot wait to play more of it. But you start out and you're just kind of like talking to the sun. It's more like an adventure. You play it all with your mouse, and you're like, pretty much I just got to the very first bit where it's like, bring me 3 coal, and you go explore the solar system, and you feed the sun some coal, and it spits out another planet that you can explore. It seems like it's going to be a really cool adventure. And again, Sokpop is just kind of cranking out all different sorts of games, whereas PUNKCAKE is they're definitely doing all their games are very, very distinct and different, but they've made quite a few shooters so far, and I'm not complaining. I love me a good arcade shmup. And their most recent game, Spectrum Forces, is horizontal scrolling shmup where you've got 3 different stages, 9 different pilots that all have like a different fire pattern and like a different like overdrive power up that you can charge up, and then you can select up to 3 pilots per stage, and then change your formation for which one's in front, kind of similar to Lazy Galaxy Rebel Story that John and I were pretty decent fans of, although this game makes me think like, I'm probably not going to go back to Lazy Galaxy anytime soon, and nothing against that game, but this is just like taking it to the next level, and it really does a nice job with like putting some strategy into the mix where like it depends like what direction your ship is facing, and it's not like a button press. You're actually like turning around, and if you're holding down fire, similar to Caro Blaster, like I was mentioning before, you like if you're backing up and revert, your ship will go in reverse essentially and keep firing forward. But then as soon as you stop firing, if you back up, you'll actually turn around, and then you can do the same thing. And so if you got enemies kind of coming from the front and back of the screen, and it's just probably I was gonna say probably their most stylish game yet, but all their games are so stylish. But this one's really bright and colorful. It just reeks of the arcade, and I really love like, sometimes the like Gradius and R-Type, those horizontal scrolling classic shmups are just a little too slow, especially starting out. And this one really just kind of, even though it scrolls at about the same speed, it really just gets into the action and all the different pilots you can pick from. And there's a bunch of different challenges with like the enemies will be tougher, or the bosses will be tougher, or your pilots have less health. They all have different stats too. Like some can take 3 hits, some can take 1, but it's, you can pick just one pilot if you want, and it's going to be tougher to take down the waves of enemies, but it's also going to be easier to dodge all the bullets because you don't have a flying V formation or a straight line single file formation with 3 ships to manage. So I don't know. I could rave about PUNKCAKE all day. I can't get enough of their games. You're probably sick of hearing it by now, but I hope you're not, because they're cranking out a game every month. They are taking November off to like get all their stuff on Steam, I believe, and do some other back end things, but then they're going to get back at it for December. So now's the time to kind of get caught up on the PUNKCAKE stuff. They've done 5 games, and I'm not kidding around that all 5 of them are legitimately contenders for my favorite game I've played this year, and I'm sure I'll be giving them a shout out on our holiday episode. But yeah, I think I've rambled on for long enough at this point, and let's get to the chat with Randall, John, and I, and until next week, we'll catch you then.
Games Workshop is like Disney level, like of just we will sue everyone and shut everything down.
Right. Yes.
It's
close
so
you out.
bonkers.
Yep.
Nintendo's making me more and more sad on that level these days.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that like hand-drawn manual thing that they slapped down?
That. So
No,
I'd gotten back
what
into
the fuck?
Kickstarter
What
with a
happened?
few things because there's been so many awesome Kickstarters lately.
This
and that
being
was
one
of them.
of them,
Like, okay,
yeah.
fine, I have to do this. Like, that would be fun to play Metroid the first time with this guide. That would be cool. And then,
Yeah.
Nintendo shut them down.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
let me see if I can
Was it just a
find it.
map or like just a like nice like
It was kind of like a hand-drawn like manual for the game, but like kind of like with like comic book scenes and like it was like the most lovingly crafted thing you can imagine.
I'm really stretching to like see how that could be breaking copyright.
I know.
Because like they did the like I didn't get a copy of it, but the Hyrule cookbook, which was like a guide to all of the Breath of the Wild recipes.
Oh,
but
that's
like
a good idea.
But like made it so it looked like a cookbook, and so it had all of the like ingredients. And I'm like, that's
sweet.
That went fine. Like I don't understand how that. Maybe they're just getting more aggressive and like.
This is what happens every fucking time Nintendo gets successful. They turn into these shit bags like this.
Yeah,
every time.
I've been wondering about that because like they like it is becoming glaringly obvious, especially like with the like upcoming Metroid Dread, where it's like. Just let people buy your games. It is impossible to play all of these old games. Like,
it is.
Yeah. We're going to get into it when we talk Metroid Fusion. But
yes. Yes.
Like,
yes.
It is unfathomable. I would buy Metroid Fusion in a heartbeat. Like,
you could easily make the argument that that's like the strongest thing they have in like their asset library is this massive history of IP in games.
But they're like, like Games Workshop and like Disney, they are so like concerned about like having a stranglehold on their image or their IP, and they need to be in complete control. It's infuriating.
And like a million other people have said, it'd be one thing if all those games were available to purchase legally, but they're fucking not. Not even a fraction of them.
Like, it's nuts. It's nuts.
I don't get how this is profitable for them. I don't understand how this is like a winning strategy for them to pursue.
I don't either.
Right.
Xbox is my new father now.
Friendship ended with hilarious. Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they just like I'm somebody who mostly lets it slide cuz like I can whatever like if they but it is lame when they're just like, let's shut down like a Smash competition, like just because they're not playing like the most current version of Smash or something. Like I don't even know why. That's not even a legitimate reason either. But who knows why? There is no real reason.
There's not,
other than to just be like, we didn't start this, we didn't sanction this, so
there's a lot of like, do
you think it really just boils down to like you're making money off of using our stuff?
But it's not even really. It's just often not even making money. It's like it's just like we want to be in complete control of everything that has to deal with our image or our IP. Like we can't have anyone, because like that's that like. Oh, I'm glad we're getting this out now, because otherwise I'm going to just fucking talk about Games Workshop and like being a fucking Warhammer guy now. Like it is. They shut down a. Oh, God. Okay. So the Emperor is a character in Warhammer, and it's the human. It's basically the god of the humans. Is an immortal human that is whatever. Yeah. But he's been kind of, even though he's immortal, he's like so old that like he can't really like do anything
naturally.
So, yeah. He sits on the golden throne, and that's fine.
Nice.
Yeah. And people were like, I think like some bonkers. It's like 10,000 people die every day just to sustain his life. Like it's so stupid. I love Warhammer.
Some real Lord of the Rings stuff going on here.
It's so real stupid. Good. But there was a YouTube channel that was I think it was like the Emperor of Mankind's text to speech converter, and it was just like a little like parody video thing where it was just like the built-in like speech thing that you have on like an iPod that would read, and it was just that. It was just the Emperor saying silly Warhammer things, and Games Workshop shut it down.
What?
And it's like, why?
Why?
What possible reason?
You can't. That's like you can't even have fun with our stuff,
right?
So,
you know,
you're crushing your own community at some point.
So that turned into like the whole like Warhammer meme community into we're a BattleTech group now.
Mm-hmm. Why?
It's just disappointing.
It's so frustrating. I love that I keep getting into these fandoms that have just the worst possible company.
Yeah. I guess like in some ways it's just kind of inevitable when you have a big company, but it's just
it doesn't have to be.
It's not inevitable. Like you can choose not to be a piece of shit company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, like once you get, that taste of success and be like, we've got like an infinite profit machine. Let's just keep this running and we have complete control over it.
Yeah. I just don't get how there's not someone at Nintendo that doesn't see that like Kickstarter for those hand-drawn manuals and think, hey, those are pretty cool. Let's let that thing happen, and then let's talk to this kid or guy. I don't know how old he is.
Towards our brand,
maybe we could start a whole series of these and do it for all the games.
Yeah.
Like I think there were like 4 games done and stuff. And
they're promoting your shit. They're promoting
they
your
could
IP.
easily they could hire it's not that everybody has to go the Sega route and hire Christian Whitehead to make Sonic Mania, but still it's like
the same thing with
why not do that? Why not at least talk to these people and be like, hey, what are people wanting from your stuff? Why do people like I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. It was another Metroid 2 remake. Dude who made that.
I forgot about
Ori
that.
in the Blind, like a company that understood, hey, someone who has passion and like cares about this, like maybe we should hire him and like involve him in the process.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
And it shows. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I guess it's a little different if somebody's like making a game, but still, I don't know if they're not selling it.
I mean,
it was the harm.
It was way before there was any like talk of them remaking Metroid 2. Like
it was before the announcement. Yep.
Yeah, but even still, like, I don't know.
I don't get what the problem is if it's not being sold. I don't understand the problem.
Yeah. I'm not going to say any more about this because that's context to something I'm going to talk about on the podcast in regards to Metroid 2.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Nice. By the way, that snapshot I took was in no particular order. I just wrote everything down that we
I think
had
it's
mentioned.
a good order.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid. I don't think we need to necessarily add anything. I had some other stuff I was maybe itching to talk about, but I can table them for later.
Our newest game is Metroid
really
Fusion.
gaming that much.
No, Half-Life Alyx came.
Well, it's like Metroid Fusion at the time that this comes out will be super relevant in the sense that Dread will be like probably either just coming out or have just come out.
Definitely.
So this is actually like all fresh. Like Good Boy Galaxy demo, new Pokemon Snap, Umurangi generations. That's Half-Life Alyx is the oldest game on the.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I'm excited to hear about
We're in
that.
chronological order here. Yeah. I'm excited to talk about it.
Dude.
Although I don't know. I don't have a ton of thoughts per se, but I have a feeling we'll end up talking about it a decent amount. It's been so long since we've done a threefer.
Dude.
I know.
John, it's been last time Randall and I recorded. I was like looking back. I was like, the last time you and I recorded an episode, John, it was
July, wasn't it?
July 1st.
Yeah, because I just renamed the file that I say. I was like, I haven't been on in months.
That's crazy.
I actually listened to a bunch of episodes today to like catch up. And because I also like just haven't been listening to podcasts.
That's like all I've been doing.
Kidding about Dev Dwarf's voice being so low, that baritone.
Yeah, he's just like, hey.
I still haven't listened to that yet. Oh man.
He's a great guest. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun chatting with him for sure. Yeah. We've lucked out for sure with like the last 3 guests we've had on have all been 4.
Every guest has been good.
Yeah, the only one I was a little bit just Lou Moth was and it wasn't him. It was just like we.
Oh yeah.
The comfort of having someone
every
on.
Successive interview has gotten better and better.
Right.
Like listening to the Dev Dwarf stuff, I'm like, fuck, is he better at this than us? Like this is just a really natural episode. Like
yeah. It's same with especially because Matt listens to our podcast all the time. Mm-hmm. Like he like listens like for real. Like I didn't know he like listens all the time, but he like regular. Like he said, he's gone back to the beginning and listened to every episode. I'm like, dang man. Because he mentioned something like, "Oh, I'm going through the backlog or whatever." I was like, "Oh, well, don't go too far back." He's like, "Oh, I already started from episode 1." He's like, "I think I'm on like, episode like 70." And then he was like, "When I started around like episode 100 or something."
Jeez.
So, I'm like, dang, man, going ham.
All right.
So, but pretty cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
but I'm so susceptible to FOMO. Like every time that I was just listening to I was listening to the Megan episode, and I'm like, we mentioned Stardew Valley, and I'm like, fuck, should I start Stardew Valley up again?
Yep. Because I'm so bad about that too.
It's the reason why I started Monster Hunter Rise again, was because I was watching like a Let's Play, and they were playing Monster Hunter Rise, and I was like, I should get back into that, and I did, and I like, oh my god, I've played so much fucking of my 3 games that I play, which is just Tony Hawk
platform.
You always say like Rise? That you don't play games, John. You're like, "Oh, I didn't play much," and then I'm like, "Oh, you played 80 hours of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and you haven't even talked about it yet." I'm like, "So you play?" Like,
I don't really play many games. I play the games like obsessively.
Yeah, and I wish like. You guys are kind of carrying me this week because like I've just been so uncomfortable lately. Like I have not gamed at all. Although last night DJ came over,
nice,
and we played some Kingdom 2 Crowns again.
Yeah,
like we started getting into that, and we played the Deadlands version, the Bloodstained DLC.
Oh, that's right.
It is sweet.
Ooh,
and that game. So
the way that you like always pause and like things, I never know how a sentence is gonna end.
No, I mean, I just forgot how much, like, both DJ and I were like, I forgot how much we fucking love Kingdom. Like, he texted me today, and he was like, started up New Lands again. He was like, I just can't fucking stop. And it's like, I think at one point, DJ was like, I should get going. Like, we started up, like, the next island or whatever. And he's like, I should probably get going. And then, like, easily played for another, like, hour and a half or 2 hours after that. Like, it just is like this mesmerizing game that like I just cannot. I actually was talking to Matt Glanville about it because he mentioned on Twitter, he was like, he's like, are there any games like Patapon that don't have the rhythm element? And I was like, I don't know if this is quite what you're looking for, but maybe Kingdom, like he said, like where you control like one person and kind of in turn like command an army.
Yeah,
so I was like, it's not really what you're looking for, but maybe, it's side scrolly and you kind of like set tasks for people, sort of. But God, that game is so good, and I think there's a new Bad North DLC coming out, so that's what kind of like piqued my interest.
Hell yeah!
I don't know for sure, but it's called Norse Lands is the new name of the DLC, and the font looks very Bad North-esque, and the colors and stuff. So I don't know, and they're both Raw Fury published, so it's like I could see that crossover happening. Like Bloodstain, that made no sense. That was just kind of like. This just happened because, but like you get to play as all 4 characters in Curse of the Moon. Like you get different, you get different mounts in the other Kingdom games where like the horses and different like I don't know, beasts. Like you get like a bear you can ride. Like they all have different abilities. But like in this, you get like Zangetsu can like turn into a bat and just start flying and like zipping across the island.
Yeah. Bloodstained is I hope that Igarashi keeps making those because honestly,
well they made Curse of the Moon 2. I know they made that one.
Yeah. I've been waiting on it.
Like the
I
NES
bought it physically. I hope it's going to ship pretty soon.
Nice.
Did you see that they... I think they made Blaster Master 03.
Yes.
Did you see that? Yeah, I thought I saw that on the eShop, and then I was like, wait a minute, was that a dream? No, they're just like, apparently that series is just back in action, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, was it's that like a trilogy.
Was that one where they were like, oh, this is the last one we're making? Mm-hmm. Or like...
Yep.
But so cool to see, Inti Creates still
Those
just
are
cranking
well
them out,
made.
man. They really are. I mean, I only have played the first one, but it seemed like the second one looked like even better, to be honest. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking like, dude, this looks awesome.
Because it wouldn't have been based on an NES game at that point. It would have they're just been their creation, I suppose.
Yeah, just kind of inspired by the gameplay mechanics and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of physical copies, I didn't fucking get my WarioWare today. It just didn't come, so... Whatever. Hopefully I'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I played the demo. It's really fun.
It looks good. Like
I'm stoked. I was a little nervous. I honestly was a little bit nervous. Like it just looked a little like the art style, and after Mario Golf, I've just been like,
it's Ko Takeuchi, isn't it?
I don't know.
He's the guy that does WarioWare and or Rhythm Heaven.
Oh. The 3DS one was good, although that was just kind of a greatest hits thing.
Maybe. Yeah, I never played that one. The last ones I played were the Wii and the
maybe he didn't do the art.
I don't know. I guess I was thinking of that Wii U one, which wasn't a WarioWare game.
Game and Wario, baby. I got it for free from Club Nintendo.
Same here.
Club Nintendo. Oh, man.
You remember Club Nintendo?
Hell yes. I have
anymore?
2 tote bags from Club
coins,
Nintendo.
Yeah. I'm still mad I didn't get that little diorama that you got, Randall, that little like PVC diorama thing. Really cool.
I'm about that. And the Luigi's Mansion one, too. Both of those.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Oh, it's real good.
I probably have, but I can't picture it in my mind.
You want me to go get it? That's right behind me.
I mean, you don't have to, but
yeah, I'm gonna go get it.
I would look at it.
Oh man! Oh, Randall took his headphones off.
Yeah, he's going to look at. I didn't realize that's the side of his video game shelf.
No, that's a nice.
Dude, I didn't.
Got to put the headphones back on first so I can hear your reactions.
No, I didn't realize that was your.
Yes.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, it's sweet.
That's so cute.
Oh, you got to take a picture of that so we can post
Dark
it.
Moon. That's when it released.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, the DS one or the 3DS one?
3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah.
Rules.
Yeah.
The hair's looking good, by the way, Randall. I like that extra length to get there. Going
it's
on.
a little bit more than extra at this point, but yeah.
You look who you're talking to over here. Look who you're talking to over here.
But no,
I never realized those were your game shelves in the background.
Window?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had that same shelf. I like literally just ripped off Randall. Like I went over to his place one time. I was like, dude, that's sweet. I'm going to IKEA and get one of those right now.
That's IKEA offers the best storage for the cost. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to like, and especially those floating shelves, like those are just sweet. Yeah. I got rid of mine because it just, yeah.
You see those Criterion?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I more meant the float. Like those are floating though. Like those cabinets that Randall has too. Like it's like you like mount it on the wall. It's just I don't know. They're really cool.
It's like a floating see-through coffin, basically.
Yeah. With glass shelves too. Like they're slick. They're slick.
It is
They're very slick.
I was gonna ask Kevin. I know it's at 10 p.m. I think is when they go on. But are you going to the Oscar bait show tomorrow?
I thought you were going to say tonight. I was like, no. I'm going to try. I've been feeling like absolute garbage, but I am going to try. I do want, I don't know. I do want to try, but I'm like on the fence with all this. Like,
I've not been,
I don't know.
Yeah, I've not been at a show. I know that at least they're like, they require proof of vaccination or like a negative COVID test for like 48 hours or something. But
yeah,
I just want to see them. I just want to see them play all their songs and like,
especially with like the new. It's like a release show, right?
Yeah,
like it's
I know. Like, I texted Nick as soon as they like showed like their. I was like, oh, here's the vinyl and like the T-shirt. And
the shirt is so sick.
Yeah, I actually got like the sweater version of it.
Yeah,
but
it's like the Sherwin-Williams logo, kind of. Is at least what it reminds me of.
Oh, it's so good. Nick is so good.
It's awesome.
He like side note, he has the Pardon My Thrashing, the skateboard design he did. I'm so jealous of him. Like here's just a skateboard that you can buy with my art on it. That fucking rips.
That's sweet.
But I texted Nick as soon as like I saw that like, oh, here's a pre-order bundle. I'm like, I need like that right now. And he's like, cool. And then I texted him. I was like, should I actually order this through like Little Elephant so that they're like, oh yeah, we signed this band and we like want to make sure that they're like making money. He's like, you should also do that just because I'll forget to get you the merch. So
they're so good.
So like it'll probably take a while because I think they're also based out of I forget what, maybe Toledo. The actual label, so I'll have to wait a while for the like pre-order to come, but Kevin and I have talked about this. They're like a hardcore band that like all their songs are like shorter than 2 minutes long. Like at most.
And hardcore, like very melodic hardcore.
Yes.
I would they're punky, but like
it's 2 minutes
catchier, but like it's very aggressive. But
it's like, it's probably a minute and 30 song that has 7 parts to it.
Wow. It's like insane how short, like you're like, you'll be like, oh man, that song had like a lot of shit going on. Like you're like, oh, that was a long song. Like not long, but like you feel like, man, that went a lot of places. And then you're like, you look at the time and you're like, a minute 18. What the fuck? Like, what the hell? It's crazy. It's like you like lose track of time when you listen to them.
Yeah, wow. So they put out a vinyl and like their entire EP only fits on one side of the vinyl. So
nice.
The other side is a screen print. And
that's
Kevin,
cool.
Kevin was saying they should just put the rest of their discography on the side.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome. But I was like, the only reason I'm mad is because I know they could fit everything else they've ever recorded on the other side, and then I could have a complete Oscar bait vinyl collection. But other than that, because it's crazy. Like they have like, do they have a full length technically, or are they all kind of like 7-8 songs?
Full length by like what definition? Like that's the thing. Like.
Because you go back to like the 70s, 80s, and like Bruce Springsteen was putting out full-length albums with like 7 tracks on them, and I kind of like it. Like,
like half-hour tops.
I'm always left wanting
5 minutes long.
Yeah,
I'm always left wanting more though. Like I would rather have that feeling than feel like, oh, there's 3 more songs left.
Pro Skater 2
especially
is
with
an EP with that's 7 minutes long. God. They're long. I feel like Become Good is their only album, so to speak, and it's 10 songs and it's 16 minutes long.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. But it feels like an album. Like you listen to it and you're not feeling like, oh, that was short. Like you're just like, you do feel like, oh damn, it's over already, but you don't. I don't know. It's just crazy how
they are the anti-boss fight. So like,
I don't know. Our songs aren't that long. We have a couple longers.
Like, we just take our time and like,
it's good.
It's like, hey, let's
breathe.
Let's have this outro be half of the song, and it's just.
If you actually think about it, we're actually very similar to them, but just if you just took Oscar bait and just stretched out their songs and like milked them for everything they were worth.
There's the pitch.
Every song has 7 sections, but we play each section 4 times, and they play it once.
But if you played those sections and layered them a few different times,
right. There you go.
Look what you could do.
And this time we play it, and only the bass is playing it, or this time we're playing it. And they're like, nope, everything's play. I mean, I also really love the name of the album is Everything Louder Than Everything Else. Which is just a great fucking line.
Sounds fairly accurate.
Yeah. I don't know if they'd be Randall's thing, but you might appreciate the craft, maybe.
Maybe.
That's the thing is like Coleman has such a good voice, but like
and great lyrics too.
Incredible lyrics.
His lyrics are awesome.
Yeah, I just love any second that a song goes from him screaming to him just like singing, and I was like,
sure.
Oh, God damn. Like you have
that energy switch is so good. Yeah, they're awesome.
So fucking
very good band.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm finally in a headspace now after however many years to listen to like quote unquote new music or just new music to me in a way that I was like, I can't take in new things right now. I just can't give this a shot.
Have you been popping anything in or
no? I just right now I'm here. I'm ready for new music.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Well, I can strongly recommend, and this I can almost guarantee you with like the newest Japanese breakfast album.
Okay.
I can almost guarantee that both you and Tina would very much enjoy.
I've heard of this before.
She's actually doing the soundtrack for that game Sable that is coming out very soon.
Okay.
Which is sort of random. Like I think it was like just sort of like a, I'm assuming the game maker liked her music or whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. It's the most I've like enjoyed a just random new album in a long time.
Jubilee?
Other than like Tennis. Jubilee, that's it. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of the album.
Okay.
Best purchase was getting all the home movie seasons on DVD.
Nice.
I need to buy that set.
It's
for sure.
So good. And like we just finished season 3. It's like we have a TV in our bedroom that has a DVD player.
I love that you're watching it on DVD. This is great.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like it's impossible to find. Like we have the state.
Well,
on
you just
DVD.
never know if it's going to reliably be on whatever service. You know.
Yeah,
100%.
That and Stella, like we have like these really like specifically John shows that like I was super into and that were never commercially successful.
Yeah, they got their like release on DVD and that was all the money that they could recoup from making the show. Because there were all those. There was like The State.
Like
got those
that.
MTV shows, and even like more recent shows. You know, like Party Down and like. Burning Love and stuff like that. Like,
so every Ken Marino project. Like you're just listening.
Yep. Do you have you seen any of those, Randall?
I'm unfamiliar with like most of anything you just named.
Oh my God. You would like Party Down for sure. It's just like a bunch of people like working at a catering company, but like all like actors.
Okay. Honestly, Party Down stresses me out too much. Like it is kind of too bleak that like it really bums me out. Whereas
it is kind of, but it's got that like Curb energy to me, like where it's just like, how did they get into this fucking situation?
Okay. Yes, I think the reason why it like bothers me is that it feels too real. Like
it does feel real, but the Curb does too sometimes.
Yeah, and that's
like
also
other than it's like so absurd,
Curb,
but like Curb when they're just like screaming at each other, like. If I'm watching it by myself, I'm just like enjoying it, but like sometimes like what I'd be like watching if like. You know, when I was like dating someone and living with them and like they'd be doing something else and like not watching, and I'd be like kind of thinking about how does this sound not watching this? There's just Susie screaming, Cheryl screaming, Jeff screaming, Larry screaming. It's like, this is just fucking hard to listen to, I bet. Yep. You know? And not to mention that like the earlier seasons have like pretty low audio quality production. Yeah. Like it's just like recorded on a VHS, it sounds like practically. Yeah. So it's like, it can be rough watch.
Larry doesn't give a shit about that sort of stuff.
No.
Yeah. God, yeah. DJ said he was was watching the more recent seasons and said it's still very good.
I haven't watched the latest last couple seasons.
I think the last two. Yeah. I'm up to season. I think I watched up through the Seinfeld season is the last.
Definitely
season
watched
I watched
that one. Yeah.
And I might have seen one after that even, but I haven't seen the last two. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so wild that I am way more comfortable watching something like Always Sunny, even though it is objectively worse situations and worse people, just because it's so unbelievable. I think
and it's
there's no basis in reality, and I'm okay with that.
That makes sense.
And it's a little more scripted in a way that it does. There's something about the unscriptedness of Curb can add to that stressfulness. I think because it really, it's I don't know, something about it. Because there have been times that I've watched Curb or shown it to someone who's never seen it and been and I can tell they're not as into it as I am, and then I'm just kind of oh, I could see how you could hate this show, oh man, but it's so good. We were talking about Funkhauser, DJ was I didn't know Funkhauser died a couple years ago.
Yeah,
but man, he's so funny.
He's hilarious.
We were talking about the episode where he steals the flowers from Marty Funkhauser's mom's grave memorial site to give to the teacher to bribe to get his.
She's not going to use them anymore, right? I'm sure that's the rationale.
It's so good. And the way he when he gets home and Cheryl and Vivica A. Fox are waiting for him to ask how it went with the principal, and Larry's just points at the palm of his hand. He's you see this right here? That's where she just had some lunch. This is the way he said, what a way to say she's eating out of the palm of my hand. Oh, God. It's just so funny.
It is.
That show's so great.